Hi, Anti-Society. Welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are watching episodes 353 and 354 of Bleach. So in the last episode, there was a lot of information, so we got introduced to Jackie, who is one of the Fullbringer group that we kind of got introduced to, and like when everyone's kind of name got introduced earlier on, but we got to actually learn like a tiny bit of her backstory, a little bit of flashbacks to some of the trauma associated with her Fullbringer in particular, and also getting to see her Fullbring in action with her Dirty Boots ability as she was going up against Ichigo. So we were able to kind of see how her ability works, and seeing that it's like her boots and she has kind of a kick-based fighting style, and the dirtier her boots get, the more power she has behind her kicks. So it's definitely a cool ability that really reminds me of Seto's, where his is like, of course, his arms, like upper body. So it's kind of like a similar thing, but with kicking, obviously different functioning wise because of how she like channels the full brain. Anyway, it's similar but different. And getting to see Ichigo's ability evolve as he learns more about it, seeing that there's the different number of prongs or blades that are on his combat pass as he's channeling his Fullbring that kind of count down how many attacks he can use, and then obviously it going a little bit berserk at the end. And because Ichigo's always been great at like managing power output, so obviously it was going to get a little bit out of control as he's training. And we saw him in a very like Soul Reaper-esque outfit that was sort of channeling through his Fullbringer. So cool to kind of see that connection between like his Bankai and now this new ability that he's figuring out. But more importantly, we got a lot of information about Tsukishima and sort of like his deal, possibly some clues about his abilities, which are still kind of up in the air because it seems as if there's kind of two abilities going on right now. There's like his Fullbring, which is the bookmark that transforms into the sword and it can cut anything. So Book of the End, I believe, is what it's called. So there's like that basic ability, and then we have, of course, this mystery with the way that he affected Orihime, which we haven't got a chance to talk to Ishida about that, so we don't know if it's just with Orihime or if Ishida had a similar experience. But there's this whole twisting of perception kind of thing in that Orihime believed for a second that she was talking to a friend, that she had an interaction with a friend instead of just Tsukishima. It seems like Ginjo is unaware of this ability, which could be because if you can, manipulate someone's perception or memory, that you could just like take that out if they had any memory or perception of it and navigate your way around that. We've seen that with Aizen, where like nobody knew what his ability truly was because he could just play with people's senses and get around it. So there is that possibility. There's also the possibility that Ginjo brought up of someone else being the person who attacked Orihime, and because of that, from like my kind of inference off of that is perhaps it's someone that Orihime knows and does see as a friend, so like sensing their kind of spiritual essence presence, but seeing with her senses and processing with her senses, it's Tsukishima. So getting those two things confused in her head, I'm not sure where that's gonna go. So a lot of mystery around his abilities still, but he just sort of showed up at Ginjo and group's front step. I mean, he cut their door in half, but he just kind of invited himself in, and it looks like we're going to have maybe perhaps a proper showdown between Ichigo and him. But I'll be interested to see if we get to see a little bit of what Ichigo's ability really is, if it's like actually like bringing back his Soul Reaper abilities, hence the costume being similar, or if it's just like he's manifesting his Fullbring in such a way because it is so closely tied to his memories and connection to being a Soul Reaper, as he's channeling through the combat pass, that it's just sort of the garb that he has chosen in association to that. Not sure, but let's just get into episode 353. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm trying to remember. We have like what? There's 366 is the last episode as of right now. So that's 12 episodes because 355 is a filler, if I remember correctly. So, um, 12 episodes left. So it does feel as if we're kind of at like a halfway point of this arc story. We're kind of firmly in perhaps the second arc of like, like the second act, I should say. Um where we're going to be uh kind of having these groups come together, getting into the conflict a little bit more. Because Tsukishima has been kind of like pulling strings in the background and kind of like, I think like testing people and kind of doing little things to get people's attention and see how they'll react, play with their heads a little bit. And it seems now he's just sort of walking through the front door. It's just gonna, you know, get down to what the conflict's really about. It's a good inference. It's a shame that Seto's deduction was apparently incorrect to some capacity. I do really like Jackie's fighting style. Not gonna lie. It's like a similar reason why I liked Grimjo's fighting style when he was like in his um released form, because he used a lot of kicks and kind of acrobatic style of fighting. I would like to know. We haven't talked to Ishida in a while. I feel like it's probably tied up with what's going on with Urahara and Ishin, because we just have not explored that really. We kind of had like a little like, hey, remember that they're like still doing stuff moment, but we didn't get any information about what they're working on. I'm assuming it's connected to Oriu's father. If they're gonna have to talk about both of them, I have to distinguish which Ishida I'm talking about. Oh, but Rirayuki is still not around either, so what a thing to like wander into. It does open up the possibility of backup, though. Intense music for Ichigo coming uh out of the box, literally. He is not a force to be reckoned with. I'm just saying. He still has a mortal body, though, which I think is an interesting detail that they brought up in the last episode that I hadn't really fully, like, had in my brain. That, like, his instinct for fighting is based off of, like, having a Soul Reaper body, which is, like, being in, like, spirit form, as opposed to, like, his physical body and having, his own, um, abilities granted because of that. Interested in the mark on his chest though, because we had like his Bankai um at the what was it called? The form that Zangetsu had at the end. Gen something? Where it like fused with his arm. See, I'm wondering that too. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if it's actually because he's a. Oh. I mean, he did have a kind of like shield ability. Yeah, see, I thought the same things that though. Look up my boy figuring things out. Same page. So what else was in it? Or I guess they were just in it. And he wanted to force them out. Ooh. Ah, so it is somebody else? Maybe? Oh. He just doesn't fully know who it is. I don't know if it'll matter much. So, so though, darling, I understand your initiative, points for passion, but maybe don't destroy a building and just run into a conflict. Maybe. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with all the authorities. When did Rukia get home? They're all gone. It is probably better to be in an open area for a fight, though. Especially with Ichigo. Ichigo can't really fight in close proximity with like a bunch of people around. See, I see what you're doing. Uh-oh. Oh, he looks so sad. Of course they are. Okay, but Ichigo, I understand the anger, the frustration, especially since it's probably been building up for a little while for him, of feeling like powerless, and now he isn't. But maybe just take a breath. Maybe. Because can it cut through anything? His sword? What does anything entail? Like anything, anything? Or is there a limit? Plus, he's been training, so like he's probably used up a lot of energy anyway. Well, Ichigo did that for a little bit. Clever. Like a short burst of speed to dodge. It's a good tactic, though. And low on like energy usage instead of like holding it the whole time. Ooh, got him. Yeah, like he is his own. He's a fast learner. Just sort of on the fly. That's basically how he does things. But also, he's done like similar thing with, using Soul Reaper abilities. Flash Step, isn't that it? Like he's done similar stuff before, so I like that it kind of like speeds up a lot of his learning process. Like one is just like him being talented at this kind of thing, but also it's similar to other fighting styles. Okay, but be careful, because he doesn't know what his Fullbringer does. Uh-oh. Oof. Ginjo? Coming into the mix? There's definitely a lot of history there. I'm just saying. Backstory. Yeah, he is not here. Weird comedic interlude, but alright. Those blank eyes from Tsukishima, though. In like direct contrast to Ginjo's. Uh-oh. Old, but I understand. Is he? Have you guys fought before? I don't know the history. When Tsukishima left the group, started his own group, killed a bunch of people, did you guys fight? Have you trained together? Seems to be holding his own alright, though. We haven't really seen Ginjo fight, so. Not let him go, just like let Ginjo do his thing. If you think about it, though, Ginjo has just as much of a right to want to fight Tsukishima as Ichigo. A bunch of people he knew probably got attacked by him, too. Like, probably people he knew were killed by him. So Ginjo probably has a lot of anger and reason to fight him as well. So Ichigo, share. Come again? I don't know. He seems like he's a blade of some kind, though. He seems strategic. Ooh, good move, though. That was cool. What was that? I mean, I'm assuming he just was like channeling Fullbring energy. But it was cool. Destroying public property, though, so like, you know, be careful of that. I guess it's not like Soul Reapers where like nobody could see them. Like people could straight up see Fullbringers. And they're not like putting a barrier up so that nothing gets destroyed. So it's a little bit more public, isn't it? Ooh, careful. Like I don't mean to be that person, Ichigo, but Ginjo seems like he's doing better uh than you were. Boy, he's in the middle of something. Is there a plan other than normal fighting? He did change his style. Oh, he did. It is closer to what Ginjo was doing. Good observation. He isn't fighting just from like the ground anymore, or like the roof. He's utilizing um a lot more of the space. Incomplete maybe, but he does learn best through combat. He said so himself. Is he doing a similar thing to what Ginjo just did with all of the Fullbring energy? Seems to have had an effect, knocked him off balance a little bit. Is it? That's good. Why do you know that though? Oh? We're gonna learn a bit of his power? Yukia? Oh, I'm excited for this as a video game fan. So it is connected to the PSP. No, I want to know his power so bad. I'm so excited for his like the connection with like video games. I think it'll have some cool mechanics to it. Maybe something sort of like um Shinsui's power where it's like rules and there's like certain things that you have to like obey for the abilities to work. I'm like embarrassingly excited about a video game based power. It's fine. We'll get to see it soon. I do like that the like mechanic of like having Ichigo figure out more stuff about his Fullbring like through watching other people fight with theirs. You know, the fact that he like learns best in conflict situations, but also like observing other people and then trying it. Like that's kind of Ichigo's learning style. Ooh, Ishida! My goodness. Oh no, Jackie. We did forget to help Jackie. They're trying to deal with the police. That's their story. So we really didn't get any answers in terms of like learning more about Tsukishima's abilities in terms of like what exactly that entails. We kind of saw him being a good fighter using the like what is it called? The little flame things around his feet, using that ability quite well, and Ichigo kind of taking notes of that because he figured out sort of how to do that kind of when he was fighting Jackie, but we didn't really get into any details about what exactly his ability is. It didn't seem like he was really fighting, he was just kind of like dodging and playing around, which seems kind of his style anyway. We might get to see some of that as we get into Yukio, and his ability, which I'm so excited to learn some about because it seems to have like video game mechanics, and I'm a nerd, so I think that that's amazing, and I can't wait to kind of see what the rules are and what kind of mechanics it's actually using. So maybe we'll get to see some more of that. Mostly I liked that we got to see Ginjo really fight, which is not something that we've totally seen. We saw him fight a little bit against that hollow, but not quite to this extent to him really needing to exert himself to go up against an enemy. So getting to see his kind of agility and him using his Fullbring to like concentrate like a bunch of energy at once, it looked really cool from just like a aesthetic standpoint. Green's my favorite color too, so maybe I'm biased a little bit with that. But I also liked getting to see Ichigo like learning on the fly, like watching someone and adapting that ability to his own style and kind of trying it out. So I liked that he took some notes from Ginjo's fighting style to add to his own, which is something that he's very like adaptive to. I feel like Ichigo is very fast at kind of picking up the basics of stuff, and then like he needs to really try it out to fully understand it, to learn it. That's kind of like how he learns stuff, is by doing, which I'm the same way. Like I feel like I can learn a bunch from like reading or having someone tell me about it, but it's really just like me sitting down and like figuring it out on my own where I really learn things. So I like that we're getting to see kind of Ichigo trying really hard to adapt to what's going on and becoming a better fighter because of that. But I don't think a whole lot to talk about in terms of like plot. We had so much to talk about in like the last couple of episodes in terms of like character and world building and plot and stuff like that. And I feel like this one was really just like, let's see what Ichigo has learned and apply it and see some of the other characters' abilities. I'm really, really excited about the next one. So I feel like I should have more to say, but I feel like mostly I just want to watch the next episode. So let's just get into episode 354. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm really looking forward to this ability. I also feel like there's a lot of like history between these characters. Like I really feel like there's something between Tsukishima and Ginjo. Like I don't know if besides like the whole Tsukishima like killed off a bunch of people that Ginjo knew. But I feel like there's a lot of I don't know, I feel like there's something more to like their backstory together. I don't know what it is. um I wonder if it was like a friendship that obviously didn't work out well because they're on opposing sides now. Or it might have been like a teacher student kind of thing where like Ginjo looked up to him, and after feeling betrayed, obviously they're and taking over kind of a leadership role, they're the way that they interact with each other is very different now. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get like a proper backstory with them. I hope we do. Probably not right now, but like eventually. I also want to know what Tsukishima's connection to Ichigo is. Because he seems to like one know who he is generally before he like showed up, but two like know a bit about his fighting style and his power level and stuff like that. But we haven't seen him before. Yeah, they need Ichigo, so they're probably very protective of him. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I don't know why, but it has like retro game vibes, like almost like Atari. What's the save bar for him? Other than like generally saving. Careful though. Wait. Ooh, quick. He also now has a stylish scar over his eye. I don't know if it'll scar, but he has the stylish cut there. Given that they have like mortal bodies, uh, that might leave a scar like normally would. Is it ready? We've reached a checkpoint of some kind? Before the boss battle? Oh, so is he... So Ichi goes inside of the save point, I guess? Yeah, you don't have the kind of anonymity that soul reapers do. It's a whole other kind of consequence to all of this. Is she trying to like save him like she usually does? Like she did with the other people? All kind of ganging up on him? Why specifically point her out? Just because she was the last one to threaten him? Or does he have plans? Seto, what's wrong? Did he cut his arm? Because that might be resulting in some weird mind tricks. Ishido, did something happen to your memory, your brain? I need another reference point besides Orihime. Oh, he invited her. Why now and not before? That's my question. How do you know? Sense and stuff? So was he staying in the hospital for a reason? To like bide his time, wait it out? Now trade stories. But like let me know. I want to know what the similarities are. That's a cool power though. It's like a save file. Is he the one with money? Does he have some money to spend on stuff? Yes, I would like to know about Seto. How's he doing? Why is he laying on the floor? Oh, we finally took care of Jackie. You okay, hon? I worry about you. Why do I feel like they're communicating with their eyes? Is it? It's weird for him to just like pass out and have his like. It almost seemed like his full bring was on him. The fruits. I don't know. He seems to be playing around a lot. Was it a distraction to get to Sendo? You know, he had an interest in him. Mm-hmm. I don't trust him. They bite your story. Cooking gone wrong. Because he's gonna learn from your ability. Fair point. If that's what his ability does, then it would be the best for training. Him? Nice. Ichigo did seem to take a lot of have like similarities with Ginjo's even before he was like taking influence from it. So I think it'll be a good learning experience for Ichigo to fight him. It does. I wonder if it's because Tsukishima was alone when he attacked Ishida. But when he attacked Orihime, he had his little sidekick dude. Is it something to do with the sidekick dude? Maybe not because he attacked Sendo when he was alone. Wouldn't it would it be harder for Orihime to heal someone's wounds the longer between healing and when they got the wounds because it's actually turning back time and not actually healing? Just a mechanic that I would like to know some details about. For healing or for shielding? Like, is he thinking to like block out put up a barrier, like Yukio is. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be in like a virtual reality world, and I love it. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's true. We all have imagined what it would be like to be inside of our favorite game. I guess I'm a bigger nerd than them. I thought he wasn't supposed to interfere. I love how you could see that it was like two-dimensional. Like that's a really cool effect that they put in. Like it'd be an easy thing to pull off in like a 3D render, but since it's like a 2D drawn animation, it's really impressive that they got that effect right. Six life points, life gauges, I guess. Like hearts. Countdown. Very like fighter game feel. Brawl. That's what makes me think. Even though it's like not a platform fighter. Hime. She's nice. We're bringing her because the others are injured, like Jackie, but also they might get injured just because they're in mortal bodies. Well, she knows. She's healed him enough times at this point. She's been doing this for a while, so. Like, he's gonna do it anyway. So she might as well help out. Well, he died. So, like, a couple of times. Ugh, we love the determination. I mean, it probably doesn't weigh much for him. Ooh. I feel like the weight is probably a lot like Senpakuto, where like it just doesn't weigh as much for you. Ooh. You had better dodge. Or not, I guess. Now I want a cup of tea. I mean, I usually want a cup of tea, but I've just been reminded. A healing item. I guess it is, isn't it? Yeah, he got hurt again. Isn't that kind of cheating though to get healed right at the end of the fight? I mean, she would also have healed Ginjo though. Are we getting some context? What about robbing your son's future? What's admitting the light? Rukia? Maybe? It is. She's got a lieutenant badge thingy though. Am I wrong? Is she a lieutenant now? Didn't her squad, so the country? I don't know why my brain is like forgetting everything about how the Soul Society works, but didn't Ukitake not have a lieutenant? Because he had like the two members that were like kind of standing in. Um, but I don't think he had like an official lieutenant. I mean, I guess she could have like switched squads too, because like other people did that, but so whatever Urahara and Ishin have been working on has to have some direct connection to Soul Society, I would assume, if Ruki is there. Oh right, we have the filler episode next. Oh, is it gonna be in Soul Society? That's gonna be heartwarming when we get to it. Look at this old school RPG. I love this. I agree. So we didn't quite get to see Yukio's abilities fully yet. I liked that we kind of got the like saved file thing with, you can kind of like save a person in kind of this, I don't know, file little box thing and then like load them later. I like that that's a mechanic of it, and it's also, getting teleported into kind of this game world thing where there can be an environment, but it's very two-dimensional and you can kind of see through the illusion. It's less like isekai than I kind of thought maybe it would be when we kind of teleported them in. So I like that it's sort of a similar thing to Irukia's ability, but it has like some other mechanics to it because I feel like Rirukia's power is just like putting them in the box and she can kind of like, I don't know, like she has like the like love gun thing and using that to kind of like put people into the box or the cage or whatever that she has, kind of like save them in this like cutesy form or whatever. But it's not quite the same with Yukio's, which is more like he has a certain amount of control over the environment and interacting with people. Like Ginjo talked about how he would be able to, lock an enemy in there and actually like fight them, but like through the game, like the whole invaders must die is like the name of it. So it'll be cool to see him use that as like an actual like offensive tool as opposed to like more of a training tool like it is now. But bringing Orihime into this too, we got to finally see Ishida. There's some connection. We also have like Urahara and Ishin and Arukia, which I pin in that because we're going to come back to that one. But you kind of seeing, like I was talking about, like this escalation as we get into the second act of this arc where everything's kind of coming together a little bit better. So I like that Orihime is showing up to offer some healing, some support. I don't know why Ishida was like, don't heal me before, but now it's okay. They kind of tried to like shrug it off like, oh, well, like I was just biding my time, but now like Ichigo is getting some of his power back, so I have to like get back at the game. I don't know, maybe that was just like they didn't know what to do with him. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just don't know what to do with the character, especially with like such a big cast as Bleach has, and then you're introducing a bunch of new characters with like the Fullbringers. So I understand not being able to juggle all of them. We haven't seen like Orihime a whole lot in this arc so far either. She's brought bread to people and was attacked, but that was kind of it. So I understand not really knowing what to do with all of those characters in this moment, but it looks like he is also possibly getting involved again. He seems to have had a very distinctly different experience with Tsukishima and interacting with him. So it does kind of lean towards the idea that maybe the Tsukishima that was encountering Orihime was not the same one, that there's some kind of difference there between them. I don't know. I'm sure that we'll find out eventually. I hope this isn't one of those things where I like ask a question and I'm like, I want to know more about that, and you guys are like, that'll have to wait until the new arc starts, because that'll be unfortunate for me because I'm like legitimately gonna have to wait for that. Anyway, let's talk about the fact that Rukia showed up. I think she is a lieutenant because she has the patch on her arm, which is a thing that lieutenants do, and she doesn't have like the white of a captain. So it looks like she is lieutenant of one of the squads. I don't think it showed us what the symbol was, so I can't say like which squad. I'm sure we'll find out when she like actually shows up. But it does put a direct link between, I don't know, whatever they're working on and Soul Society, connects those two together. I wasn't sure how much they would be involved because they were like, for whatever reason, left Soul Society. I mean, Urahara, we know why he left, but I don't quite know why Ishin decided to leave. So it looks like they've repaired some kind of relationship after the whole Aizen thing, perhaps, but I'm not really sure what they were working on. It seemed to have some kind of glow and they like needed the presence of Rukia's spiritual pressure. Not sure. The only thing that I can think of that's been glowing and connected to Rukia is the Hogyakyu, because she like had it inside of her for a while. So I don't know. I don't know what we did with that. I'm assuming they didn't leave it with Aizen, because then Aizen could just break out of his prison thing. he talked about it being like part of him, so I don't know if it's like entirely extracted from him. Not sure. Intentionally, I assume that I'm not supposed to know that, so looks like we're getting some other elements being reintroduced to everything that's going on, but excited to kind of see where this is going. It seems to be escalating quite quickly to me. We kind of had some like slow burning kind of plot lines happening for a little while, but it seems like, you know, the pieces are finally starting to move and pick up momentum as we go along, which is very exciting. So, you know, we're gonna skip the next one because it's filler, so we'll come back to it later. Move on to like the latter part of this arc. I'm like excited, but also like nervous about having to wait for new episodes. Anyway, you can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you miss the next time I post a Bleach video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!